Tonight I stood next to my boyfriend of 2 years, 23M, while he introduced himself to a girl as single. Single. As in, not in a relationship. As in, hello, I apparently don't exist. And I was right there. I'm 21F and this is my first serious relationship. And I have never felt so disrespected and confused in my life. Maybe I suddenly turned invisible and missed the memo? Because I felt pretty real, standing right next to him. We were at a college house party, one of those loud, chaotic birthday bashes for a friend of ours. The music was blasting. People were dancing and crammed into a stuffy living room, lit by cheap string lights. I'd stepped away for maybe 2 minutes to grab us drinks from the kitchen. When I came back, I found my boyfriend, let's call him Jake, leaning against a wall, talking to this bubbly blonde girl I'd never seen before. Of course she was pretty. I walked up behind him, ready to slip back to his side, when I caught her asking, "So, are you here with anyone? Or are you single?" My stomach dropped as I heard Jake let out this awkward little laugh. He hesitated, glanced around, maybe looking for me, and then he said it, "Yeah, I'm single, just here with some buddies." I froze. Did I hear that right? I was literally about to poke him in the shoulder. And in that second, he denies me like I'm some ghost. For a split second, I seriously wondered if I'd stumbled into some hidden camera prank show. It was that surreal. Like, was Ashton Kutcher about to jump out and tell me I'm being punked? Because there was no way my own boyfriend just said that, right? I felt this hot wave of embarrassment and anger crash over me. My face burned. I must have looked like an absolute idiot just standing there behind him, holding 2 plastic cups, listening to my boyfriend pretend I don't exist. I wasn't sure what to do. Part of me wanted to cause a scene right then and there. Maybe dump the cheap beer I was holding over his head, or yell, "Seriously, Jake?" for the whole party to hear. Believe me, I imagined it. But I'm not great with public confrontations, and a birthday rager with dozens of people, including our friends, didn't feel like the best place to unleash my inner drama queen. Plus, I think I was in shock. Who does that? Who just forgets their girlfriend is literally 2 feet away and tells someone they're single? So I did the most awkward thing possible. I sidled up next to him, slipping into his peripheral vision, and just stared at him with what had to be the most WTF expression ever. He flinched when he finally noticed me, probably because the other girl was eyeing me like, who's this chick and why does she look like she wants to murder you? Jake went pale as a sheet. I was weirdly calm outwardly, even though my heart was pounding out of my chest. I just said, very coolly, "Hi, who's your friend?" The poor blonde girl looked mortified. I don't blame her at all. She wasn't the one lying. In fact, she apologized to me, stammering something like, "Oh my God, I am so sorry. I didn't know you had a girlfriend." Meanwhile, Jake was opening and closing his mouth like a freaking goldfish, as if he couldn't decide what to say. He mumbled, "This is my name. She's, we're together," or some half-assed attempt at acknowledging me, but it was too late. The damage was done. The girl just gave us both an awkward smile and was like, "I'm gonna go find my friends," and scurried off, leaving Jake and me standing there in the corner. The moment she left, I turned to him and asked, as quietly as I could manage, through clenched teeth, I'm sure, "Did you really just tell her you're single? Care to explain, honey?" I definitely put extra emphasis on honey in the pettiest tone. He immediately got defensive. His eyes were wide, and he started sputtering, No, you heard wrong. I swear I didn't mean it like that." Which is not an answer, right? So I pressed him, "What exactly did I hear wrong? Because I definitely heard you say you're single." He then tried to claim that he thought she was asking if he came to the party alone, since I wasn't right next to him at that second. What kind of BS excuse is that? I didn't buy it. It was loud, sure, but I heard the conversation pretty clearly. And even if by some wild chance I misheard, "I'm single," I definitely heard him not mention me at all. He was absolutely flirting with her, let's be real. He even had that stupid flirty grin he gets when he's trying to be charming. Ugh. At this point, a couple people nearby were starting to notice something was off. My face probably said it all, and I was on the verge of either bursting into tears or yelling at him, or both. I didn't want to break down in the middle of the party, so I just shook my head and told him we'd talk later, and I walked away before I did something I'd regret. I needed to cool down and collect myself. I spent the next hour pointedly avoiding Jake. He tried to follow me once, calling my name over the music, but I shot him a death glare that must have communicated back off or die because he stopped trailing me. I found my friend, the birthday girl, and hung out with her and a few others in the kitchen, trying to act like everything was fine, even though I was boiling inside. My friend could tell I was upset. When she asked, I just told her Jake and I had a fight, and I wasn't in the mood to get into it right then. Here's the kicker. While I was in the kitchen, the birthday girl, our mutual friend, pulled me aside and quietly asked if Jake and I were okay. I said, "Not really, why?" And she goes, "I heard him mention to a couple people that he was single earlier." I was confused. I thought maybe you two broke up and I missed it. I had to tell her, no, we haven't broken up. Not that I know of anyway. The look on her face said it all. She was as baffled as I was. We just kind of stared at each other, both of us thinking, WTF. So it wasn't just that one girl. According to my friend, and who knows who else, my lovely boyfriend had been telling multiple people at this party that he's single, all while I was there with him. I felt my face go hot again. Half anger, half humiliation. It's one thing to have one slip up. Not that it's okay, but apparently he made a whole fake single guy act out of the night. And great, now I realized any rando at the party who heard him say that probably thinks I'm just some crazy ex or something. The humiliation factor went through the roof. I could already picture people gossiping about us. I wanted to sink through the floorboards and disappear. By midnight, I'd had enough. I didn't even want to look at Jake's stupid face, let alone drive him home as if everything was peachy. He was drinking, acting like Mr. Frat Boy Freedom, apparently. And I was the DD, designated driver, for the night. But screw that. I told my birthday friend I was leaving, and she offered to let Jake crash on her couch if needed, since a bunch of people were planning to stay over anyway. She totally understood why I wanted to bail. She gave me this sympathetic hug and said, "I don't blame you, honestly. That's really not okay," which made me feel just a tiny bit better about my decision to leave. At least someone in that house saw how messed up this was. With that, I grabbed my coat and noped out of there without saying goodbye to my darling single boyfriend. The moment I stepped outside and the cold air hit me, I realized I was shaking. Not from the cold, but from pure adrenaline and hurt. I power walked to my car, yanked the door open, and as soon as I slumped into the driver's seat, I lost it. I'm not proud to admit it, but I started sobbing angrily, alone in my car on some dark street. You know that ugly cry where you're half gasping, half cussing under your breath? Yep, that was me. I punched the steering wheel a couple times for good measure, probably looking like a total madwoman. Thank God no one was around to see it. After a few minutes, I managed to pull myself together enough to drive home, blasting angry punk music the whole way and screaming along to the lyrics, because, hey, it helps. I was so angry and hurt I barely slept. I ignored my phone, which was buzzing with texts from Jake first, just, "Where are you?" and "Did you leave?" Then escalating to a bunch of missed calls and increasingly annoyed messages. I turned the damn thing off because seeing his name pop up was just raising my blood pressure. Not gonna lie, I really wanted to fire back a text saying something like, "You made it clear you're single last night, so you can find your own damn ride, buddy." I actually typed out something along those lines and my thumb hovered over the send button. But I deleted it. I'm trying really hard not to go full throttle until I've cooled off, because once I say something, I can't take it back. For now, I'm letting him stew in silence. This morning, I woke up to an onslaught of texts from him. The earlier ones were semi-apologetic. "Babe, let's talk, I can explain." But those quickly turned into him being pissed at me. He wrote stuff like, "I can't believe you just ditched me, what the hell is wrong with you?" And "Thanks a lot for leaving me stranded." To give you an idea, at around 1 a.m. he was texting things like, "Babe, I'm so sorry. Please, let's talk, I can explain." An hour later it was, "Hello? Where did you go?" By 3 a.m. it morphed into, "I can't believe you left me like that, that's effed up." And by this morning the tone was straight up angry and accusatory. "Oh, I'm sorry, did my refusal to stand there and be disrespected inconvenience you, sir?" I literally rolled my eyes so hard reading that. The audacity of this guy to act like I'm the villain because I left without giving him a free ride home after he pretended I didn't exist all night. As I'm reading these messages, I'm just getting more upset. I haven't replied to him yet. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. Part of me wants to drive over to his apartment and demand he tell me to my face why he thought this was even remotely okay. Part of me never wants to speak to him again. It's like I'm swinging between two extremes. One minute I want to see him face to face and scream, "Why? How could you do this to us?" The next minute I want to just block his number, crawl under my blankets, and pretend the last 2 years never happened. Neither option feels great. We've been together 2 years. 2 years. This is someone I share a friend group with, someone who stays over at my apartment half the week, someone I truly thought loved me and respected me. He's the guy who brings me soup when I'm sick and surprises me with cute notes or flowers sometimes. He's met my family, we have inside jokes, all that mushy stuff. I'm talking about the kind of guy who'd bring me chocolate when I was having a bad day, or surprise me with a handwritten note left on my laptop just because. He remembers to ask about my sick grandma. He once showed up at my door with a cupcake because it was exactly 1.5 years since our first date, and he thought it was cute. That level is sweet, so yeah, this whole situation is a complete 180 from the guy I first thought I knew. He's also always been kind of a flirt, to be fair. It's something I noticed early on, but he would insist he's just being friendly. Like he'd joke around with the waitress or be a little too charming with a new female lab partner. Nothing over the line that I saw. Until now, I guess. I used to tease him about being a charmer, and he'd hug me and say I'm the only girl for him. And stupid me, I believed it because it seemed true. He's never given me a concrete reason to doubt his loyalty until last night. Now I'm second-guessing everything. Was this a one-time drunken mistake? Or have I been oblivious to a bunch of red flags waving in my face? I keep remembering little things. How he never posts about me on his Instagram. I didn't care much, but now it seems suspicious. This guy posts photos of his dog, his lunch, and every stupid beer pong tournament he wins. But apparently never finds a reason to post a photo of us or even mention he's got a girlfriend. Like, hello, I'm not asking to be his profile pic, but being completely hidden is suspicious in hindsight. Another memory popped up. A few months ago, I met up with him after a study session he had with some classmates, 2 girls and a guy. When I arrived, he introduced me by name only, no, this is my girlfriend tag, and then rushed the goodbye with them. I remember feeling a twinge of weird about it at the time, but I shrugged it off, thinking he was just eager to leave. Now I'm wondering if he's been deliberately keeping me in the shadows in certain parts of his life. I keep asking myself, did I do something wrong? Am I not enough? Or does he just enjoy the attention? He was drunk, yes, but not so wasted that he didn't recognize me. He absolutely knew what he was doing. Alcohol isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card. I'm honestly terrified that this might just be the tip of the iceberg. Like, what if he's been doing this crap behind my back regularly? What if I'm that girl everyone knows as the clueless girlfriend, while he's out there acting like a free agent? My mind is racing to worst-case scenarios. Is he chatting up girls on the regular, sliding into DMs, or even cheating outright? The thought makes me sick. I feel lost. Part of me wants to believe him that it was just a dumb mistake, that maybe he really is just an idiot who likes attention when he's drunk. But another part of me is screaming, this is not okay, not even once. I'm at a crossroads. Would you stay with someone like this? Because honestly, if I stay with him, how could I ever feel secure? Every time he'd go out without me, I'd be wondering if he's putting on his fake single mask again. But if I break up, then... well, there goes 2 years of my life and a big chunk of my heart, I guess. I'm really stuck here. I haven't talked to him yet, aside from that brief confrontation at the party. So I have no idea what kind of excuse or explanation he'll try to give beyond the pathetic ones he already attempted. I'm almost afraid he'll manage to smooth talk his way out of this and I'll stupidly forgive him, because I do love him. It's messed up because despite everything, I still have this stupid soft spot for him. I hate that I do. I hate that a part of me is hoping there's some explanation that isn't as ugly as it looks. Love can really cloud your judgment, huh? Anyway, sorry this is so long and rambly. I guess I had a lot to get off my chest. If you made it this far, thank you. I'm literally sitting here at my laptop instead of responding to his dozen texts, because I don't trust myself to talk to him until I get my head on straight. I needed to vent and see if I'm crazy for thinking this is as serious as it feels. I don't know what to do next. Do I give him a chance to explain and potentially redeem himself? Or do I save myself the trouble and end it now? Any advice or perspective would be really appreciated, because I'm spiraling a bit. TLDR, my boyfriend of 2 years pretended he was single while chatting up a girl at a party last night, and apparently told multiple people there he didn't have a girlfriend. I was right there at the same party. I confronted him briefly. He gave a lame excuse about misunderstanding the question, and I ended up leaving the party without him. Now he's angry I ditched him, and I'm furious and hurt that he disrespected me like that. Should I even hear him out, or is this basically an unforgivable deal breaker? Would you stay with someone who did this? Edit. Thank you for all the responses. I'm honestly overwhelmed in a good way by the support and reality checks. I know I deserve better than being treated like I'm invisible. I'm going to talk to him later today once I'm calmer and see what the heck he has to say for himself. I'll be back with an update when I have one. Wish me luck. Update 1. Hey everyone. First off, wow, I did not expect my post to get so much attention. Thank you for all the advice and the reality checks. Reading through your comments gave me the courage and the snark I needed to face this head on. A lot of you said something along the lines of, tell him he's single now, since that's what he wanted. So, I did. Shortly after I made my post, I finally texted Jake. I basically said, you made it clear last night you want to act single, so go ahead and be single. I'm not sticking around to be disrespected. Also find someone else to beg for rides, because I'm done. It was a slightly more elaborate text than that, but you get the idea. I admit, my hands were shaking when I hit send. I was bracing myself for whatever his reaction would be, and boy did he react. Within minutes, he was calling me. I didn't pick up the first 2 calls. I needed a moment to steel myself, and honestly, I kinda enjoyed letting him sweat. On the 3rd call, I answered. He was frantic, going, what are you talking about? Why are you saying you're done? As if he had no clue. I kept my voice as steady as possible and told him we needed to talk in person, face to face, because I wasn't doing this via text or a screaming phone match. He agreed immediately, practically begging, please, let's talk. I'll come over right now. About an hour later, he showed up at my apartment. I could tell he was nervous. He looked like absolute hell. Unshaven, messy hair, dark circles, the works. I'd be lying if I said a part of me didn't feel a twinge of satisfaction seeing him actually worry for once. I sat him down on my couch and cut right to the chase. Why did you tell people you're single? What the hell, Jake? He looked genuinely confused. Or he's a damn good actor. His response. I was drunk. I don't even remember what I said. I swear I didn't mean any of it. Called it. As many of you predicted, he went straight for the I was too drunk to remember excuse. I wasn't having it. I told him that was BS, that he seemed perfectly lucid and chatty last night right up until the moment I ghosted him. He kept insisting, I was wasted, babe. You know I get stupid when I drink. I'd never say that in my right mind. I brought up that multiple people heard him. By the way, our mutual friend, the party host, had texted me earlier that day. She basically said she ripped him a new one when he woke up on her couch, and he played dumb with her too. He told her he had no idea what she was talking about and even got defensive. So yeah, I knew he was in full-on deny mode. I reminded him of this. I said, so you're telling me everyone magically misheard you? That all of us had the same hallucination, huh? At this point, his face kinda hardened. The contrite act faltered. He switched tactics from denial to justification. Okay. I might have said something dumb. But it was just a stupid joke. I was talking out of my ass, I didn't mean it. I was only trying to avoid awkwardness or something. Avoid awkwardness? By pretending to be single while your girlfriend is right there. What? He kept rambling. I didn't want to hurt that girl's feelings by saying I had a girlfriend, and that he didn't think it was a big deal since it was just a random party conversation. I just stared at him, absolutely floored. Not a big deal? Jake, you told people you were single. You lied about us. How is that not a big deal? I could hear my voice rising at this point. He tried to shush me like, calm down please, the neighbors. I honestly didn't care if the whole building heard me at that moment. Then he really put his foot in it. He sighed and goes, I'm sorry, okay? I said I'm sorry. But you leaving me there and then blowing this up is kind of extreme. I mean, nothing actually happened. I was just talking. I think my jaw actually dropped. Extreme? You think I'm being extreme? I lost it a little and basically unloaded. You humiliated me, Jake. You made me feel like I was crazy for standing right in front of my own boyfriend who decided to pretend I don't exist. If you think that's nothing, then what the hell do you consider something? He got quiet then, and for a second I saw a flash of anger in his eyes, like I was inconveniencing him by being upset. He muttered, I already said sorry. What else do you want me to do? You know I love you. I messed up, alright? He did this little sniff like he might actually cry. Honestly, it felt a bit performative, but it also tugged at my stupid heartstrings. At this point, I was emotionally exhausted. We went in circles a bit more, him trying to convince me it was a one-time dumb drunken mistake, that he'd never do it again, that he felt like an idiot and was scared of losing me. He even said, "You're the best thing in my life, I can't lose you over something this stupid." I told him the problem is that it didn't feel stupid. It felt like a glimpse into a side of him I never knew. I said I needed time to process it, and didn't know if I could trust him right now. In the end, after a lot of back and forth, I still didn't have a satisfying answer for why he did it. He kept falling back on, I was drunk and being dumb. He did seem genuinely ashamed, hard to tell if it was shame for what he did or just for getting caught. He begged me to give him another chance, swore up and down he'd never even think of doing anything like this again. I told him I wasn't making any decisions yet. I said something like, "I care about you, but I am seriously hurt and upset. I need to see real change and honesty from you, or this isn't going to work." He agreed, promised to do whatever it takes to earn my trust back. We left it kind of tentative. Like, I didn't dump him on the spot, but I also didn't hug him and say all is forgiven. He left my apartment looking miserable, and honestly, I was feeling pretty miserable too. I cried after he left, just out of sheer emotional exhaustion. So that's where we stand for now. I told him I need a bit of space to think. I haven't fully decided if I'm going to break up with him, but I'm very much leaning towards, boy, bye. It just hurts to even consider ending it, you know? 2 years is a long time. And despite everything, I do love the jerk. I'm trying to see if there's any salvaging this, or if the trust is just completely gone. However, you knew a however was coming, right? However, as I'm mulling all this over, a part of me can't shake the feeling that there's something more to this. So many of you commented that this behavior is a major red flag and could be the tip of an iceberg. I started thinking about that a lot. My gut is nagging me that maybe I shouldn't just accept the drunk mistake story at face value. And guess what? My gut was onto something. Because a little while ago, my friend, the one who hosted that party, decided to do some sleuthing on Tinder. She figured if he's acting single, maybe he's advertising himself as single too. Well, it didn't take long. She found a profile of him. It's literally Jake, using photos that I know were taken during our relationship. One of them I even took for him, with a bio saying he's an adventurous, single guy at our university, looking to meet new people. And apparently it was active this week. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I literally just discovered this an hour ago, and my hands are shaking again as I type. I haven't confronted him about it yet. He has no idea I know. As of right now, he's probably thinking we're slowly patching things up, and he's unaware that I just got sucker punched with proof that he's been living a double life, at least online. I don't have every detail yet. My friend took screenshots and even swiped right to see if she could match with him to gather more evidence. It's definitely him, and it's definitely active. I'm honestly reeling. This feels so much worse than the party lie. It's concrete evidence that his "I'm so happy with you" was at least partially a lie, and that he's been seeking attention or more from other girls for who knows how long. I will update again as soon as I have more info or a plan for what to do next. Right now, I am just Shiva, in shock and furious all over again. I don't want to make any rash moves until I have all the facts, and ideally the receipts/screenshots. But it's looking more and more like this relationship is truly over. TLDR of Update 1 confronted my boyfriend. He blamed being drunk, apologized but downplayed it, begged for another chance. I didn't officially break up yet, but told him I need space and he's on thin ice. Then I found out he very likely has an active Tinder profile and has been pretending to be single behind my back in more ways than one. Gathering more info now, feeling sick to my stomach. We'll update again when I have all the details. Update 2. Final. I never thought I'd be writing this, but here we are. This will probably be the final update because, well, there's not much left to say except how this all blew up. After discovering the Tinder profile, I spent a day gathering myself and figuring out how to confront him. I wanted to do it in a way where he couldn't weasel out or spin it. Honestly, at this point I was running more on anger and hurt than anything else. With the help of the same amazing friend, party host turned private investigator, we came up with a little plan. Some of you suggested catfishing or setting a trap to catch him in the act. We basically did just that. My friend had already swiped right on his Tinder profile, and surprise, surprise, it was a match. Apparently he swiped her not knowing it was her, since she used pics of a different girl and a fake name. He's not exactly the brightest. She started chatting with him while I looked over her shoulder. And let me tell you, Seeing with my own eyes how flirty and gross he was over messages with this random girl made my blood boil. He was laying it on thick, complimenting her looks, using some generic selfies she found online, saying he'd love to meet up. The absolute gall of this guy, doing this literally one day after crying and begging me not to leave him. Anyway, she, as the fake girl, arranged to meet him for coffee this afternoon at a cafe near campus. And guess who showed up instead? Yep, yours truly. I decided I wanted to be the one to face him. My friend came with me for backup and hung out at a table out of sight but within earshot, just in case. I got to the cafe early, wearing the exact outfit my friend had described to him for his date. Red flannel shirt, jeans, nothing fancy but distinctive enough. I was nervous as hell, but also weirdly calm, like some part of me was ready to get this over with. Around the scheduled time, I see him walk in. He's actually dressed up a bit, looking around eagerly. It made me sick to watch, honestly. He spotted me and initially had this confused look, like his brain couldn't compute why I was there when he was expecting some other girl. He approached, and I could see the moment it clicked for him. He realized he'd been caught. His face went through about 5 different emotions in a split second. Confusion, shock, a flicker of panic, then he settled on irritated/angry. He actually had the nerve to hiss, "What are you doing here?" as if I'm crashing his date. I stood up and said, "Maybe you should ask yourself that question. Meeting someone, are we?" My heart was pounding, but I kept my voice as steady and loud as I could. A few people in the cafe were glancing over. He immediately tried to shush me. "Keep your voice down," and grabbed my arm as if to pull me aside. I yanked my arm away and continued, "No, I think we can have this conversation right here. I'm sure everyone is curious why you're on a date when you have a girlfriend." He looked like he wanted to die on the spot. He stammered, "This isn't what it looks like. I only came here because I thought it was you. I knew something was off, and I wanted to catch you if you were testing me." Oh my God, the audacity. He really tried to flip it like he was on to us from the start. Spoiler, he wasn't. I cut him off. "Cut the crap, Jake. You thought I was some random girl from Tinder. You were fully prepared to go on a date and God knows what else behind my back. Just admit it." By now, I was definitely not calm. I could hear my voice shaking with rage. He kept glancing around, probably embarrassed that people were watching this train wreck. He muttered, "Can we not do this in public?" And I shot back, "Funny, you weren't worried about public when you were lying to me. Why should I spare you now?" At this point, he switched from panicky to pissed. "Fine. Yeah, I was gonna have a coffee with a girl. So what? It's not like I slept with anyone. I never even met her before. This is how you react? Spying on me, setting me up. That's psycho behavior, my name." He practically spat my name, full of contempt. I think I actually laughed in his face at the absurdity. "Seriously, you're calling me psycho? You lying, cheating piece of—" I might have let some colorful language fly at this point. I was beyond caring. He then said something that effectively ended any sadness I had over this relationship. "You know what? Maybe I did this because I was sick of your drama. You're always so insecure, I can't even have friends without you freaking out." Excuse me? When did I ever freak out about him having friends? I guess he's rewriting history now. He went on, "I've been unhappy for a while. Maybe I wanted to see what else is out there. Can you blame me? Look how you're acting." I felt like I'd been slapped. I think I literally went speechless for a moment, just staring at him. All I could say was, "Wow." Tears were pricking at my eyes, but I refused to cry in front of him. "So it's my fault now. You embarrass and betray me, and I'm the problem." He shrugged and said, "I think this is for the best. We're done here." His tone was so cold, like I was just some annoying inconvenience. It took me a second to process that he was essentially breaking up with me, or at least pretending he was in control of it. I managed to reply, "You're unbelievable." Then I grabbed my bag, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "You're right, we're done." And then I walked out. I wish I could say I felt triumphant or something, but I mostly felt like I was going to vomit or burst into tears, or both. My friend rushed after me and we just got in the car and drove. I did start crying as soon as we pulled away, I'm not gonna lie. That was about 6 hours ago. I've since blocked his number, blocked him on every social media platform, and told a couple of mutual friends exactly what happened, in case he tries to spread some BS version of the story. Most of our friends are as shocked as I am about his behavior, but a few admitted they kind of saw signs that he wasn't as invested. Wish someone had told me before I got humiliated. It hurts like hell to see everything crumble like this. So yeah, that's it, we're done. 2 years together, and this is how it ended. In a crappy cafe with him trying to blame me for his cheating. There's no fixing this, no magical resolution where he suddenly becomes the man I thought he was. The person I loved turned out to be a lie, or at least a really awful version of himself. I'm currently huddled up on my couch with my friend eating ice cream straight from the tub and ugly crying in intervals. It's not pretty. I feel absolutely heartbroken and furious and just empty. I know I'll be okay eventually. I have a great support system and people who care about me. But right now, it just hurts. A lot. Thank you to everyone who followed along and offered advice. You guys probably saved me from months or years of more lies. As painful as this outcome is, I'd rather know the truth than live in blissful ignorance with a phony partner. TLDR of final update. Catfished my boyfriend via Tinder to catch him in the act. Met him at a cafe where he was expecting a date with another girl. Confronted him publicly. He tried to lie and then turned nasty, basically blaming me for everything. We broke up in an explosive fight. I'm devastated but relieved to have the truth. Not a happy ending, but at least I'm no longer with a lying cheat.